What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be putting in a little bit of work on the GTO. I'd like to get these new seats in the car by the end of the video. If you remember from the last video, I talked about these seats a little bit. It's always been a dream of mine to have a silver GTO with red seats. So I picked these up last weekend with my brother up in Indiana, and I've been spending some time just cleaning them up. Been leather conditioning them. Steam cleaned them, so they're looking pretty good. I'm happy with how they look right now. So yeah, we'll go ahead and pull these old seats out. We'll clean the interior of the car pretty good. I do have a carpet extractor. We're going to try and extract the carpets as best we can. And I also have some Dynamat that I want to put in the back of the car while the rear seats are out. We'll go ahead and get back to it. I got my Nesquik chocolate milk here. And yeah, we'll get to work. So here we're just using some Lexol leather conditioner and cleaner on the seats. That's what I used the whole time when I cleaned them. I used their cleaner and then went ahead and steam cleaned the seats a couple of times. I used a horsehair brush to kind of agitate the dirt in the leather. And then I went ahead and applied conditioner. This is probably like the fourth coat of leather conditioner I've added just to try and add a bunch of moisture to the leather to make it soft again. The stuff worked really good. I've been using it for years, and I've used it on other cars, and I really like the product. And it's not an ad, but if it was an ad, that would be pretty cool because I love their stuff. So just like the front seats, we're just applying that leather conditioner into the rear seats. I'm using these little microfiber foam pads that I got from the auto parts store to apply the product. They work really good, and it leaves a really nice finish on the leather, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. So here we are getting started pulling the seats out. You have to remove the trim that goes around both sides of the seats to get the bolts exposed. Be careful with those as that plastic tends to break over time. We're talking about a 20-year-old car now, so everything, I'm just trying to be as delicate as I can with it and making sure I don't break any tabs off of any of the small trim pieces that are really hard to find. Two. So once we get the rear bolts out, we have to go ahead and slide the seat backwards all the way so that we can expose the front two bolts. Make sure before you unplug anything from your seats, you disconnect the battery. That way you don't throw any airbag lights on your dash or potentially even cause an airbag to go off. Now this car doesn't have airbags in the seats, so it's not really a concern for me, but I just want to make sure I don't have any lights that come up on the dash when I put everything back together. And then we'll get back to doing the rear seats next. So pulling the seats out themselves is always kind of nerve-wracking. I don't know how heavy these things were before I pulled them out. This is my first time pulling seats, front seats out of one of these cars. So I wasn't really sure what to expect, but just doing my best to be careful about not dragging any of the metal brackets across any trim pieces and making sure not to hit the door skins with the seats as I pull them out. got the front seats out. So it's been a while since I've pulled the rear seats out of one of these cars before. My first GTO I got when I was 18 years old. And like the first thing I did was pull the rear seats out of it to make it more obnoxiously loud inside the car than what it needed to be, and to help with weight reduction because these rear seats weigh so much. They don't weigh a lot. Yeah, just being a dumb kid and pulling the seats out. But I believe all we need to do is there's a bolt tucked up underneath here and a bolt tucked up underneath on the other side, and then two like little pull tabs for the bottom seats. So go ahead and pull this one, and it's right there. So that should be all we have to do. Oh, nope. Yep, I think they're bolted in too. No, they're not. There it goes. These are probably supposed to be bolted in from the back, but they weren't. So I'm curious if somebody's had these out before. No? We'll go ahead and get this seat pulled out of here. Okay, so here are two bolts that were hiding back behind the seat bottoms. Looks like they're just two 13 mils. So we'll go ahead and pull those out, and I think after those are out, it just, the whole seat slides up and then comes this way. So we'll go ahead and get after it here. There's one. There's two. Okay, so we got the two 13 millimeter bolts out of the bottom of the seats. Now they should be able to slide up out here like that. There we go. We're about to see what's behind here. So just what I expected. It looks like one of the previous owners, whoever had put the sound system in this car, puts this like brushed on, I guess, sound deadening paint all over the trunk and in here behind the seat. What I'm probably going to do is just try to clean it up really good, like with the steam cleaner, and maybe use some adhesion promoter on it, and then stick my Dynamat directly to that. I mean, Dynamat works way better than I think anything you could really brush on, and it doesn't really look like they did a very thorough or good job doing it anyway. So we'll go ahead and start cleaning it up in here, get the vacuum over here. It looks like there's a bunch of like deer hair or some kind of animal hair underneath there too, which is pretty gross. So we'll get that all cleaned up and bust out the steam cleaner, clean this up, and then carpet clean the carpets and go from there. So this shop vac I'm using was given to me from my fiance's dad like 4 years ago. This thing's been through hell and back from various house projects and stuff. I really need to up my shop vac game for car specific detailing. That's definitely one thing I want to spend more time doing is getting into interior and exterior detailing and get into doing paint corrections. The paint on my car is really nice, but it does need a really good clay bar and paint correction to make it really the level that I really want it to be at. So here I'm actually using a scraper that you would use for cleaning dishes with. This scraper has a like rubberized side of it. I don't have a rubberized detailing brush for carpets, but I found this actually works a lot better because most of the rubber brushes that I've used from various jobs and stuff, they're very flimsy and you can't get a lot of pressure on them. Whereas this thing is a hard plastic with a rubberized end to it, so you can put a lot of force in it to get those hard to vacuum hair fibers out of the fiber of the carpet itself. Yeah, so we're gonna just go ahead and probably pull out all of the trim in here, the kick panel and the whatever you want to call this door molding. They're just caked with dirt down in the crevices where the two plastic panels meet. So we're gonna just pull it out. That way I can steam clean it all. Yeah. The while you're there's always get me. I always fall down the rabbit hole. Sometimes I probably shouldn't because stuff ends up being blown apart longer than I'd like it to be. But I want to do it right since I'm here. This is always kind of something I've wanted to do, is pull the interior out and just clean everything really well. Like if I needed to, I would pull the carpet out too, but the carpet's in such good shape, I don't think it really needs to come out. So maybe next time, like I'd like to pull the carpet out and put the Dynamat all over the floor. I think that would definitely help a lot with sound ending. See, now I'm talking myself into pulling the carpet out and putting Dynamat all along the floor of the car. Weight's not really a big concern for me personally because the car's already really heavy. I mean, a 3,800 pound, almost a 3,800 pound curb weight. With me in it, I'm a pretty big guy, so with me in it and like a half tank of gas, this thing is probably 4,200 pounds almost. So at that point, there's really not much I can do to pull weight out of this car without gutting the interior, and that's not what the plan is with this. The plan with this is to be a comfortable street car, AC, heat, radio, everything works, comfortable seats. I don't really want to put a cage in it ever. Like, I just want it to be something that I can hop in and go have fun with. Now, the car as it sits is probably making around 450 to the wheel. I don't really know. That's just my guess based off of other cars I've raced. I'm guessing it's around 450 to 480 to the tire. I'd like to eventually be around 700 to 800 wheel. And when you're talking about that kind of horsepower, it just starts to get to the point where weight doesn't matter as much for a street car, at least. I mean, if I was going to do a full-blown drag car build with this, I mean, it wouldn't make sense to. There's much better platforms, but if that's the route I was going to go, then obviously I would cage it, gut it, probably just a full-blown tube chassis. But yeah, I guess we'll see what it looks like. I'm going to pull the center console, like I said. I'll pull these trim panels out of the car, and then we'll see what it looks like as far as just pulling the whole carpet out. That way I can Dynamat it. It's always something I've wanted to do. So, I mean, we're halfway there anyways. I might as well just go all the way out and just pull the whole thing out of here. That way I can do what I want. So, yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We'll dig into it a little bit more and see where that goes. But, yeah, back to it. probably going to call it here on this video. Sorry I snaked you. We're not going to get these red seats in tonight. It's just with what I want to do with the car, it makes sense to do it while the seats are out. And it's going to take a whole lot longer than I thought it was going to initially. So it's kind of a mess over here. I got the shop vac out. All the seats are everywhere. So I'm just going to take some time tonight to try and clean the garage up a little bit so that we are ready to go for the next video. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.